Welcome,
Alright.
welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me. Today I am joined by my friend ALK Alters, who is a super cool community member, um, professional run guy, and many other cool things. Would you like to introduce yourself? What's your pronouns? What's your kind of space in the magic and art sphere and all that?
Yeah, my name is ALK Alters. You can also call me by my real first name, Dan. My pronouns are he, him, his. I in the magic art space, I do digital alters and proxies. I don't sell proxies, please don't ask. Um, and but that's mostly all of my presence comes from that. So I have a real sort of passion for layout and design, and just making uh, cool ideas for what Magic cards could look like.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, indeed. I'm actually working on a physical altar now that's I'm excited to do. It's a little bit different than my usual fare, but I think it'll turn out
Yeah,
cool.
what are you doing?
I'm doing a verdant catacombs.
Oh, so is this a commission? Did someone send the Verdant Cat comes to you,
It
or
is a commission,
are you
though.
doing?
They didn't send me it. I bought it and then they paid for the card.
Oh, that's fair. Still makes sense. I always like one of my big fears about doing physical work is the inability to control Z. That's why I stick to digital.
Hmm. Yeah, I use these Posca pens on these, so like I can't undo some stuff, but like it's not terribly bad. I can just paint over it.
Hmm.
So this is what the uh, proof of concept looks like,
Okay.
and then here's
Is
what
that like a little ghost face on the tree?
yeah, like a ghost or a skull,
Okay. That's cool.
and then I'll paint the brown, and then I'll go over it again with green, and then I'll just slowly keep adding more details until it's done. This was going to be inspired by an Arid Mesa I did a while back, and the Arid Mesa I painted a little bit too thick on, so like you could feel it through a sleeve. But I posted online saying I'll sell this cheap, and somebody was like, "That looks really cool. I want it, and I'll even pay what you would have charged regularly for it." I'm like, I'm not going to do that. It's $40, and that's mostly just for shipping, because I was shipping it to Canada and they wanted it within a few days.
Oh yeah. That gets expensive real fast.
So it was like 40, maybe $50, and then they got some other stuff for me, and they liked the Arid Mesa so much that they wanted me to do another one of the same style. Which I'm not going to get the exact same style, just because it's really hard for me to do the same thing over and over again. At least like artwork
Hmm.
wise.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can do. I
You're
can
not
get
a
close.
you're not a robot.
Yeah. But this shouldn't take me too long, as long as I'm moving. And one of the big reasons I do these streams is partially just like get closer to the community, like talk to cool people, and be like, "Hey, here's what you're working on. Here's what I'm working on, and let's work on them together." And people are like eyes will be on us while we're doing it. They can sort of understand our process, understand what we're doing, get like a feel for personalities, and be like, "Oh, this is a personality I want to support artwork wise." So part of it's for that, and the other part of it is sometimes my focus is really bad doing stuff on my own. So if I have someone to talk to,
Mhm.
I just work a little bit better. So part of it is altruistic. The other part of it's kind of self-serving.
I mean, as all good things should be, right? Part
Yeah.
altruistic, part self-serving.
So tell us about your art. What do you do? You mentioned some of
Uh,
it, but a little bit more in detail.
yeah. So, what I do is I usually take either existing magic art and I've done a lot of like art extensions based off of existing art and make like a full art card with sort of a minimalist frame. I've done some sort of frame redesigns for magic cards um, that take existing art and put it into a new sort of frame. Or I've done less of the like taking art from outside of magic and putting it into like magic card frames,
Like the Pokemon
unless
ones you
it's
did.
like, yeah, the Pokemon ones I did. Like I still do stuff like that if it's like some sort of like universes beyond style thing. Like I did a Goosebumps style card also
And you did Star
a
Trek ones
little
for the
bit back.
Professor a while back.
Yeah, I did those Star Trek dates. I actually have those in front of me because I was planning on. I talked to Princess Weeks at Chicago, and I still need to send her copies
Oh, cool.
to her. Um, but yeah, they're literally just sitting right in front of me because I just was like gonna take a picture, be like, we talked about this. I'm sure you talked to a million people about a million things at the con, but I still have them and I still want to send them to you.
Yeah, I'm that way. I have an alter I need to send to All Trades Media because he did like a little Johnny Five short circuit hand drawn token thing. And I asked if it was for sale or for trade. He's like, no, this is for somebody else. But if you want to do an alter trade, I'm here for it. So I gave him a handful of cards I had that were like hard to move or like I didn't quite know what to do with and like just kind of wanted to get rid of. Not in a bad way, just in like a way.
Right, right, right.
And I told him I had a pyrostatic pillar that was bent, like it was damaged already. So like the back there's a bend of it, and on the front there was a visible bend, just because it was one of the card stocks where the bend test doesn't work necessarily. Like
Hmm.
it's a real card. It's just part of a print run, like a brief change in paper quality, where the quality wasn't as good. Let me see what set it is.
Is it the original printing of that card Scourge? But I don't know if it's a different set, like if it got reprinted in a Modern Masters or
I think
something.
it's Scourge. It's Scourge.
Oh, yeah, it wouldn't be Modern Masters. Oh, it's never been reprinted in paper.
Is it?
And it's
I don't.
only 81 cents. That's cool art. I love those Pete Venters goblins.
I mean, it's a good
Um,
card.
yeah, it's a very good card. It's like an good anti-storm card.
But
Um,
I've still played a commander, and this is what that turned out to look like.
yo, that's dope.
Let me take it out of the sleeve because the sleeve kind of messes with it a little bit. And then I have a pile of tokens to send to Jordan LeBlond because she was asking about some of my tokens. Like, oh yeah, I have some I can send you. There's the pyrostatic pillar now that it's on the sleeve, and you can kind of see the bend where the light hits it.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty intense bend.
But like with the altar on it, it's hard to tell unless you're like really looking at it. Like there it is on the back, you can see it. But I thought this turned out pretty cool and was not. It wasn't an easy one to do, but I got it done within an art episode for the most part.
Yeah, and it's a good way to salvage a damaged card.
Hmm. But I have this to send, and then I have some other altars I've made that I need to send to various people. The big thing, though, that is sitting not in front of me, but in the same space as me, that I really should get back to doing is my third canvas project. Cause
Yeah, I've been watching those, like your updates on socials. Those are really cool.
thank you. This is what the first one looks like, at least the playmat.
Now, that's the finished drawn on playmat? You don't like scan them and do
No,
anything with them. They're
this
truly one of one.
nope. This is a scanned in playmat.
Okay.
It's scanned and edited because the actual dimensions. This I forget the dimensions of a playmat, but I think it's like 24 by 12 or 24 by 13, and then the dimensions of the canvas itself is 24 inches by 36 inches. So these are stretched out.
Mm-hmm.
Not terribly so. It still looks good, but this is the first canvas on a playmat, and I make the playmat files for free because there's so much copyright material in there. Like I think if I tried selling it, I'd get in trouble.
Yeah, you'd be surprised with what people get away with, but
Still, I wanted to
yeah,
be.
I know.
I wanted it to be a project. I wanted it to be a project like of the people for the people. Like I make money off of it, but like you're being part of something bigger.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when it's all done, I make the playmat available for free. So if you get it custom printed from whoever, usually inked, but whoever, you too can have the artwork for yourself, and like no cost to you other than getting the actual playmat printed. Um, but this is the first one, and it turned out pretty good, being extended. And then the second one got a little bit too warped
From the scan or from the resizing?
from the resizing.
Mm.
There's
It's
supposed to
pretty
be
good to me.
there's a spiral that you're supposed to see here,
Yeah.
and on the canvas it was a lot more circular. It was still a little bit like elliptical, but it was more spherical.
Hmm.
And on this, it's this weird ellipsy.
So is the canvas just not like the right size?
The canvas is 2 feet by 3 feet. That's how big the canvas is. They're huge canvases.
Hmm.
The playmats are 24 by 12 or 24 by 13, along those lines. So it'd be like this is the size it's supposed to be,
Ah,
and
so
I'm
yeah.
stretching out to here. But they don't look bad. They just, like, if you've seen what the actual canvas looks like, they look different.
Do you have the actual canvases like hanging up somewhere?
I have sold the last two because
Oh, nice.
what I do with the finished project is I auction it off and I give 50% of it to me, and I give 50% of it towards the National Alliance for Mental Illness.
Yeah, yeah.
And that works out pretty well.
That's legit.
The first one auctioned off a little bit easier because I was auctioning it off on Twitter of all places. And then the second one happened after Twitter really went downhill, so I auctioned it off on eBay. And how eBay does their payments is a little bit weird, so I had to like borrow a good amount of money just to send the thing out.
Ugh.
And then once I got paid the shipping. Because you can charge so much for the actual piece and then so much for shipping.
Hmm.
So I undercharged for shipping, only by a few bucks, but enough to matter. And then eBay wouldn't even pay me the shipping until the whole piece got to the person successfully. So I had to borrow like $120 from my grandmother, $130 from my grandmother, just so I could afford to get boxes to send it out because of how big it is, and then get it sent through United States Postal Service. because that was the cheapest option between that, FedEx, and UPS. And then I had to do it with tracking. So the box with tracking was like $90, like 80, $90. And then
Yeah, postal service doesn't like none of the shipping like it when you send them in a weird format box.
yeah. So and then the boxes themselves, because I couldn't buy a single um box that would fit 2 feet by 3 feet, so I had to buy like a 3 or 4 pack of boxes. Which on one hand is
Yeah,
great because that means I have more boxes to send out more canvases with. But on the other hand, it was like it's shitty that I have to spend like $30, $40 on just boxes.
yeah, the box stuff is rough. It's oh man, I really hope it's just a nice day and someone is setting a grill outside because I smell fire.
That's not good.
Unless it's just a grill.
Are you having a stroke?
I hope not.
Do you smell toast?
No, it's sort of more campfire-y, which makes it feel like a grill. It's like 60 degrees outside today, I think, which is good enough weather out here for someone to realistically be starting a grill.
Okay.
That's a Friday, so. Yeah, thanks for making time for me.
Yeah,
Tuesdays and
gladly.
Thursdays are my day in the office. Days in the office now, so I
It's
can't
you and a
very
handful of
well
other
be doing
artists.
this.
You and a handful of other artists. I'm willing to make a special day for, just because I consider you friends, and
Hmm.
it's one of those things where, again, like I was saying, partially self-serving, partially altruistic. Like you guys are like have a lot of followers, and you guys are like busy people who are often doing cool stuff, and you just so happen to have schedules that like don't quite line up with mine. But like I consider you friends, and like I want your stuff to be seen just as much as my stuff to be seen because rising tides and all that. So it's
Hmm.
like I'll stay up at a weird time just so I can talk to somebody in Germany, or I'll schedule midday on a Friday that I'm not doing anything with you. And what's the third one? I think the third one, the person works all day and they wanted to do it at like 9 o'clock. So like I can do that.
Yeah. Fewer followers these days, thanks to the blue sky move, but you know what? I'm not complaining.
Yeah, we're all doing our best. The blue sky move was the right choice, but it was a bit of a reality check. A clean slate, but also a reality check.
Yeah, I felt like it's just one of those things where there's just you have this it was nice to see like how quickly the numbers went up at first. Like I think I got to 1,000 pretty quickly
Mm-hmm.
on Blue Sky. And then it sort of like almost completely leveled off.
It
Like
plateaued or
I
whatever.
don't think I yeah, it was just like the immediate like everyone coming over to Blue Sky and doing like the starter packs and stuff. Um and now it's just like, yep, well, now I have to gain followers organically or do giveaways, which I don't feel like doing for some reason.
Mm-hmm. Giveaways are kind of a pain because like they help gain you followers, but it's also one of those things where you have to cover the whole cost yourself.
Yeah, it's also yeah, and it's just like I don't know. I always feel like I definitely feel like an imposter syndrome when I think about doing a giveaway. Like I look at what I've done, and I'm like, oh, I don't think anyone like, is this really a good thing to give away? Like, would people actually want this? And I know that's stupid. Like I've done plenty of giveaways in the past, and they've always been pretty successful. It's just like, that nagging thought.
Yeah. The
And
last. Oh, go.
I said I just default to not doing things rather than doing things. So
The last giveaway I did was less of a giveaway and more like I wanted people to vote on their favorite creators, and I'd make their favorite creator a custom quiver, and that turned out fairly well. People were really into it. They were like voting on mostly smaller people, which is fine. And it ended up being Jeremy Sporefrog won it, and I started working. I ordered his quiver, started working on his quiver, and then like up, I had other stuff to deal with, and his quiver just kept taking longer and longer till
hmm
ultimately it took uh like 8-9 months, which is longer than I would have liked it to take. But he got it and he likes it, and it was successful. It turned out really good. It's just one of those things where it's like I can do better than this.
right, right.
And then I offered to do a custom quiver for Tulare Community College's recent Trans Lifeline campaign, and it kind of got caught up in some stuff and fell through the cracks. So I'm just trying to. I'm trying to make sure that somebody who wants it gets it, or so like somebody who wins it gets it. But at the same point, I'm trying not to bother the professor and the TCC Gifts Given team because
Right.
like I know they're busy.
Yeah, I've felt that in the past. And it's the same thing. Like I've offered up proxies and given away proxy rewards for as part of the TCC thing, and it does feel this is no slight on them because there's so much going into that. Like so many people offer additional stuff that it's really tough um to track all that. But sometimes it does like feel like a weird limbo.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what was I doing? I wanted a quote from, let's say, Emerson.
What do you need an Emerson quote for?
Oh, my Patreon rewards are they're I think probably the final set I'm gonna get out of these old WPA art posters. Um, so I was gonna use an Emerson quote.
All right. I'm just trying to get the wood details for this tree in the Vernon Catacombs looking good. And it's a level of doing stuff with Posca pens that I'm not used to. I like doing it, and I can do it fairly quickly, but it's still very like detail oriented and a lot more precise than I'm usually used to on Posca pens. there's that one done. Do I have a brown? I don't have a darker brown. I have to use black. Where's my little black pen? Where'd you go? There it is. I have so many of these stupid pens around that I really should use more, or like be more organized with them, and I'm just not.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever find yourself closing tabs that you still need, and then you're like, ugh, I gotta reopen that tab?
Yeah. I do that a lot on my phone, and so it's a little bit funny. For when I have tabs that like I know I need to keep open for something, but
Mm-hmm.
I also know I can't have it open on the main tab thing. I put it in incognito mode, and then like I'll totally forget, and then I'll be like, oh, I have tabs in incognito mode. What are those? And I go back, and those are like a bunch of reminders for like various things and oddities.
Right, right. Yeah, I have the opposite problem on my phone. Is I keep too many tabs open.
Yeah.
Like my phone, I think this is just a fairly new thing from an update. It like now is like hiding tabs that are more than like 18 days or some amount of days old. And it's like you have like 18 tabs open that you haven't looked at in a while. It's like, okay, stop judging me, phone.
Yeah, my phone doesn't do that, thankfully. Though my phone is starting to have some battery and um, processing issues. It's not even that.
Yeah,
It's not even that old.
that might be. Oh, I was gonna say that might be at the end of its life cycle, but then you said it's not that old.
It's the iPhone 13 Pro.
That's pretty old.
It came out like 2 years ago.
Oh, did it? I never know. I never remember when
It's like
iPhones
two, three
come
years
out.
ago.
Oh, 3 years ago. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you probably shouldn't have that many. I feel like battery issue, like I if I have a phone longer than 2 years, then like battery issues start to become a problem. But processing usually isn't as much.
Like sometimes I'll just catch it lagging or not crashing per se, but like bugging out. That's a good looking tree. A little bit different. What do you think?
I think it's cool. I mean, I really love that face. That's my favorite part. I like the green on it. It's got sort of a mossy look to it.
Yeah, that's kind of the aim.
I love trees with faces.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I was trying to think. There's the tree from Pocahontas. I think has a face. But
Oh,
there's tons of trees with
Grandma Tree or
faces.
whatever her name was.
Yeah, yeah. I just love trees with. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Magic has some great like red tree folk art. That's like even especially like the really old tree folk art. It's pretty fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm finally
Then
ready.
there's Tree Elemental or Wood Elemental.
Oh yeah, I love that guy. With Elemental, he is crazy looking.
Great artwork, terrible card.
Terrible card, terrible card. I really love, I think it's the Portal Redwood Tree Folk.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the Portal one. Just this like silly looking tree guy.
Yeah.
What if Steve Luke done? Oh, Steve Luke is done. Oh, okay. Usually he does much more intricate things like the Bosium strip, the Chaos Charm, the Chaos Sphere. Fire Snake is a banger. Was Steve Luke?
Put those over there. Do the blue. So yeah, how did you start doing your artwork?
Yeah, so I started doing this sort of stuff back in like 2000, 2001 when I was a kid. I stumbled upon sort of the same sort of deal for Pokemon. And I got involved in a community of people who were making fake Pokemon cards. That's what they sort of called it at the time. And I'm actually still part of that community. And I used an old style sheet that someone had made in the early 2000s for the energy cards, and I use that as part of my Soul Ring thing.
Oh,
So
nice.
um, um, we just hang out and chat now, but that is how I got my start. I done this, I made a bunch of like when I was in high school, I made a bunch of like custom Magic cards with my friends. Um, and then like I kept making custom Magic cards on like Magic Set Editor. I probably made like five or so fairly complete sets on that.
Wow.
Um, and then I got really got into it back when the Ultimate Masters came out, and their special cards were like the extended, what we now just say are like the regular extended
The
cards
box
with like
toppers.
the oval, yeah, the box toppers. Um, and I wanted to try to do that, and so like my first like I think I did just like a full set um of looks like 64 cards in that style um, before I started like moving on and doing other. And I posted those. Um, I posted a number of those before I started moving on and doing other things.
Neat. Like, yeah, you've gone pretty far so far with it.
Yeah, yeah. I just do it. If I think I would still be doing it, probably not at the same pace. Uh, if like I wasn't posting them at all. I just enjoyed doing it. You know, it's one of the things you talked about how like um you need people. or not that you need, but it's helpful for you to have people like to talk to and to sort of do this stream. I think I'm sort of the opposite, where I'm like, this is the sort of thing I do just to like zen out and like hyper focus on something for a
Yeah.
while, because I can go deep on like, where is it, like pixel alignment and stuff.
Uh huh. I do artwork to zen out sometimes. Like I'll listen to music and just space out and work on it.
Mm-hmm.
But other times it's like just having someone to talk to and bounce off of is pleasant. Plus, also you can ask for like, what do you think about this, or what are you thinking, or sort of like, what's your process on this sort of idea?
Yeah, of course. Okay, I am finally done prepping all my Patreon posts for tomorrow. Now I can work on what I wanted to work on.
So, what's your sort of favorite music to run to?
Um, I run the podcast.
Ah,
Um, I have a real issue when I exercise or when I'm driving with music. Because I think like I start to think in like time increments of
huh.
the song. So I'm like, oh, this song is like, most songs are somewhere between 3 to 4 minutes. Um, and it's just like, oh, that's such a short amount of time when I'm trying to like fill out a decent amount of time exercising. But
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, I listen to a podcast, I can be like, oh, that's like an hour long. It's only like even if I'm like driving from, I live outside of Washington, D.C. My parents live outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's like a 3.5, 4 hour drive. I can like, it's like 3 podcast episodes, and then I'm at my parents' house.
That's a neat way of looking at it. So, what are some? What time do we have? Oh, we're great on time.
So what sort of podcasts do I listen to?
Oh, that's one question. I was gonna ask what tips do you have for artwork, but that's usually one of my like, not my last questions, but like that's a question I ask. Like, I have a handful of questions on a. We're in a little Dale Earnhardt sticker.
Nice.
Let me get my screen back up. And the first one's tell me about yourself, like your pronouns, sort of like what your space in the magic sphere is, what you generally do. The second was tell us about your art, like what do you do in general. Like one is talking about yourself, one's talking about your art. Then once, tell us about how you started. Then tips, then your favorite card, and then usually just like that's the end. But what sort of podcast do you listen to?
So I listen to. Let's see. I'm just going down the list. I listen to Blank Check, which is a movie podcast.
Is it
Um,
inspired by the movie Blank Check?
it's not. They actually complain that they named the podcast poorly because people think about it. No, they listen to director. They'll like have miniseries that's based on on directors, and the core idea behind the podcast is that they're um listening, like a director gets sort of like a blank check. They're successful early on in their careers, and they get a blank check to do a crazy passion project. And sometimes those checks clear, and sometimes they bounce, baby. Um, and so they go through like a director's full filmography um, to talk about what they do. And so this current so it's miniseries. Current miniseries is early Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Um, so it's they did late Spielberg early on, and now it's Steven Spielberg between but starting from, I think they technically his first theatrical film is Sugarland Express. They did a TV movie called Duel, where a man is sort of getting run off the road by a tractor trailer, and then through Schindler's List, the year, whichever year both Jurassic Park and Schindler's List came out.
Mm-hmm.
Do I not have that Giselle? What did I do with it? Be very annoying.
So what's a director you want to hear them do, or like one that they've done that you really enjoy?
Um, John McTiernan was really interesting. This is the guy who directed like Predators and Die Hard, or
Yeah.
Predator and Die Hard and The Hunt for October. So like one of the greatest action directors of all time. And then his work just slowly like fizzled out, and it ended with a big like tax evasion scandal, and he went to federal prison.
Oh,
So it's a really interesting sort of arc to the whole thing.
that's interesting. That'd make for a good trivia question. I do. I hope I play trivia with a friend of mine on Wednesdays, and then the people who run the trivia at the bar I go to on Wednesdays liked my questions that I suggested so much that they're like, would you be up for helping us at this other bar on Tuesdays?" And I'm like, "Sure. I can't drive, but I'll offer questions, and if y'all are willing to drive me, I'll more than gladly help run it." And they're like, "Sure." So I've been doing that for the past 2 Tuesdays. So
That's cool. I
whenever I
love trivia.
oh yeah, whenever I hear a fun fact or whatever, I try to make a trivia question out of it. Sometimes they're harder than others, and I like making my questions harder than usual. Though the person I run it with has been trying to one up me and do even harder questions. Not in like a mean way, just in like she had one where you had to like list the order of what certain Kirsten Dunst movies came out. And like that one threw me for a loop. Because that's a big thing with trivia is like you want to put questions on there to make yourself look smart, but like you can't put too many questions that'll make you look smart on there, or else it just becomes Like, it's confusing for everybody else.
Right.
So I have to make sure that all the questions I'm asking are not overly complex or weird. Though I've had a few that have gotten people confused. I had one where I had people guess the word preposterous and spell it out correctly, and nobody got it.
Is that one of those weird ones that has it's PRE or PER?
PREPOSTEROUS. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I could get it except for the beginning. I would overthink myself on trying it if it's pre or per.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is going to be a new file. 1398.
Is that how many you've done?
That's how many are in my main folder.
Wow.
Oh, crap. Is it Golden Knight or Gold Light? Gisela.
Oh, that's Gold Knight.
Yeah, Gold Knight. I don't know, the file will be named wrong forever.
Let me see how many I have that are not retired.
Okay.
Magic. Tokens. Tokens. 412 items. So I have 412 unique proxies, tokens, for the most part. There's a few duplicates, or there's a few where I did them like earlier on in my proxy making career, kind of.
Right.
Not a career because we don't make money, but earlier on in my proxy making time, and then a handful later on that I made the like remasters of them, where like I did the frame better, I changed the artwork better, just various changes that I've changed over the years, and so but overall it's 412. And then retired, I have 66 retired ones. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 62 retired ones. So I've done about 500 or so.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
And other than duplicates, they're all original artwork.
Now I need to.
There's a few proxy series that I want to get back to doing. I was doing this whole series of Black Mana ones that are reserveless cards other than Cryptgast. and those ones I
Uh-huh.
really stylized to look like posters, and I want to do that style again because it was really fun. It's challenging to like put all the words on there, but like it's super cool. Do you remember seeing them?
I think so.
I can send them to you. 1 minute.
Oh, god damn it. My keyboard tray has like not the right amount of connectedness, and I've constantly just been fixing it by um, taping it back up, but it often doesn't fully fit.
Yeah. So here's I sent you the Black Mana series of proxies I did, where they're meant to look like posters. And all.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. These are good.
Thank you.
You chose some wordy cards.
Yeah, because their reserve list.
I mean, though they're easily as or more readable than official stuff Wizards of the Coast is about.
Yeah, that was a goal. I think Lich is probably the worst. There we go. That didn't turn out too bad.
Yeah, that was good.
Need to gloss it, but that's not too hard.
That
That didn't take nearly as long as I was thinking it would.
that particular element.
But that Verdant Catacombs and this Taco Bell altar are going to the same person.
Hmm. Is that a the Temple Bell?
Yes, it is. I've done Village Bellringer before, and I was tempted to do Village Bellringer again, but I don't have a Village Bellringer, and Temple Bell seems like a card people use more of.
Right. Yeah, I think Village Bellringer is only like a comp card.
I've used in combo decks.
Yeah. What am I doing?
Oh, that's cool. But yeah, I think that turned out pretty good. The Verdant Catacombs. More verdant than Catacomb, but still cool.
I was gonna say something like Waka Waka. Or very
Mm-hmm. The Arid Mesa looks like this. Let me find a picture of it. The Arid Mesa looks a bit like this once it loads.
Oh, I like it. It's coming out just because it's the phone. It's coming out a little, but I love
Let
the
me see.
red.
There we go.
Yeah, that looks cool.
It's a little bit less bright than that, but that's kind of the gist.
Okay, this is coming along.
Oh, I can prime and work on another one. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought it would.
Now for the masking, my favorite part.
So, Twin Flame, Mirror Maid, Dual Caster Mage, or Brainstorm?
Um, say dual caster.
All right. I have a Ristic study primed, but that one I need to do a lot of back and forth looking and referencing for because it's based off of somebody's cats.
Ah,
And if I
yeah, okay.
go off of the Discord tab too much, the stream only shows.
Cats will do that.
It doesn't show what I'm looking for. So is there a director on that podcast that you want to hear them do, but they haven't done yet?
Um, Peter Jackson would be interesting. I think just talking about his early stuff and then like how he got into Lord of the Rings and then like what happened with the Hobbit movies.
Mm-hmm. And that weird puppet movie he did.
Yeah. So like all of that, like just like all the early really weird stuff he did, and then like going into the like making some of the most like the successful and popular prestige family fantasy movies of all time.
Did Peter Jackson do Brain Dead, Dead Alive?
I think he might have.
Have you seen?
Yes.
He did do Brain Dead, Dead Alive.
I have not seen Brain Dead.
It's a very fun movie. It's kind of goofy, but it's fun. That and the Puppet movie are like two Peter Jackson movies where like if you want to get who he is as a person as opposed to what he's able to do,
Mm-hmm.
those are two pretty good insights. Not perfect insights, but like you can see where he's coming from. What was the stupid puppet movie called?
Is it The Frighteners?
No, that one's pretty good. I think Meet the Feebles or something like that.
Ah, yeah.
Meet the Feebles. I got it right. Okay. Hey Bones, how's it going? We're both just vibing.
Hanging out,
Yeah.
maxing, relaxing, all cool.
Bones is one of my regular
Sweet.
viewers. Bones.
Alright.
On Sundays, I occasionally do Pokemon streams. Well, not Pokemon games. It's like Pokemon Minecraft. That's modded Minecraft.
Uh-huh.
And Bones named a Turtwig, or the middle stage between Turtwig and Torterra. Uh,
Grotol,
Grottle, yeah,
which is
or
a
Grotle.
weird name to say out loud.
Bones named one of those Morton, and then once it evolved into Turtwig, I named it Mr. Morton. I haven't used
I was
what?
I was I just finished mostly finished a Sword and Shield playthrough. I'm now in like the Crown Tundra and it's like, do I really want to do the Crown Tundra again?
I heard it's good.
But it's alright. I
I
don't
still need to
know.
play the Scarlet Violet DLC. I don't have the Sword Shield DLC or the Scarlet Violet DLC.
The Violet DLC is pretty good. It um like the first one's like it's like a sort of new mini land. and then the third one's like a more of a. It's got like it's got like a wild area, but it's in like a school, so you do sort of like a school plot.
Okay.
They're both fine.
Still right that
I think,
high from Soul Silver, or from Silver and Gold, where you just enter Kanto once you beat Johto.
yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I wish that someday they'd have like of course the impossible wish is to yeah have like you go to different regions and stuff. Um, but I feel like these DLCs where they have like big areas that are new are sort of a nice compromise on that.
Well, that's good to hear.
And they unlock a bunch of Pokemon through the DLC.
Oh, good.
Like I think even just like the update for the DLC let you put like Pokemon from Legends Arceus into the game and stuff.
Oh, nice.
I like Scarlet and Violet. If it didn't run like absolute garbage, like I'd be much more fond of it. But I
Mm.
think like just like I don't know, I feel like the world feels good enough in it to like just going around and doing stuff. The gameplay loop is fun. Um and like the difference between that and like Sword and Shield, especially the main game Sword and Shield, where the routes are so like defined like lines that you just walk down
Mm-hmm.
that like it's nice to have like it really does feel more like the freedom like oh if I want to go on that mountain go on top of that mountain.
Yeah. I've been itching to play either Soul Silver or Black 2, White 2, but I don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have them. I have I
Oh no.
I have
Well,
Black
good luck.
somewhere in storage, but um, I have a really crappy 3DS. It's like kind of beat up and kind of used. But like, I want to get a new 3DS, the 3DS XL or whatever, the new one where it has like the extra joystick and the better processing.
Yeah, yeah.
I had one of those. I loved it. It just like I had it plugged in during a power surge and it fried the battery.
Oh wow.
And then when I tried fixing it and replacing the battery, um, I unattached one of the connectors and I had no way to reconnect it.
Oh.
So now I just have it all in parts in a prescription bag in my safe. But
Yeah, I haven't replayed Black 2 White 2 in a while. I was doing a replay of I believe the versions I bought were white. And got I like lost interest. I think the back half of Unova is pretty bad.
okay,
And like that there's those stupid swamps you have to walk through and like I don't know. I really love black and white, and it makes me feel bad because every time I start playing it and the game's great, and then you get to like as soon as you get into the desert, you're like, oh, this is kind of a slog.
I kind of like the desert because that's where you find full Corona.
Yeah, you do find Volcarona in the desert, and like they're cool guys. I love whatchamacallit, the
Darmanitan.
Darmanitan's awesome. I love the little guy with the pants and he like turns into the hoodie guy.
Uh huh. Oh, Scrafty or
Like,
whatever.
yeah, I mean, I love that's sort of what I like about Black. I love those guys. I like Black and White just because of all the new Pokemon, um, and like the fact that it was just all new Pokemon. Um, but man, I don't know, something about the later half of that game.
That's fair. But like, I like Pokemon. Oh, Colfagrigas is also in the desert.
Yeah, that one's cool too. I don't know if I've ever played Copias as a like in a playthrough. I love Darmanitan. I've played Darmanitan. I love the bird fossil Archon and
Archeop, or
Archeops.
yeah,
Yeah, those guys rule. Archeops is so funny. He's like just flapping really hard trying to stay in the air.
yeah. According to the laws of aviation.
I mean, there are very few Pokemon games I have like actual complaints about. The worst is Sun and Moon, just because like I don't have 30 minutes just to sit there and hit A as it takes me through the world's slowest tutorial,
Yeah,
which is a shame because I love Sun and Moon otherwise. But I think it's a better. I think the story is better than Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, which has like better QOL stuff.
yeah.
But
That's the hard part about Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. Is like one of them has a better plot overall, and but it's like really handholdy, and the other one has like a slightly worse plot or like dumber plot or like weirder plot, and then but it's not as handholdy.
yeah, it's just more fun to play.
And the post game in both Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon are pretty good. I wasn't.
Yeah, I don't do like the battle trees or stuff that often, but the Ultra Sun and Moon have the Ultra Beasts,
Yeah,
and the I think they both have the Ultra Beasts in the post game. And I love the Ultra Beasts. I love their designs.
they're cool.
They're just so weird.
The hard part is like, what do you, like? They're aliens, is what they are. So how do you like incorporate aliens into your other games?
Yeah, yeah. No, it definitely like makes it much like that's sort of what I like though. I love because I've got Pokemon up through. I think I still have. I even did. Maybe I did the 4 to 5, but I definitely have Pokemon from like Gen 5 to Gen 6 to Gen 7 to Gen 8 to Gen 9, like all in the ecosystem. So like I'll get to the post game of play. Like I got to the post game of Sword, and like right after the game, they have that plot where you have to fight the two
The brothers. Yeah.
Swordward and Shieldbert or whatever their names are,
Uh huh.
and like I'm like, cool, here's Zygarde. You can deal with that. And I'm like, here's Nevi, deal with that. Like it's just fun busting out like all of these ridiculous things that you've ported in from post games.
Yeah. But the by far the best Pokemon post game is Silver and Gold, where it's like, all right, you're in Johto, you beat Johto, now you're in Kanto. What? Yeah,
Yeah, and that was the nice thing about like Heart Gold Soul Silver is they actually like made Kanto good.
yeah. And it's like, yeah, all the bosses, you're gonna fight them again. And even after you beat the Elite Four, again. Even after you beat the champion, Red, again. The champion of the Elite Four, and then the Red boss fight on the mountaintop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Then every gym leader will call you and challenge you again with like their like post game teams, and some of them are pretty freaking hard.
And they just stuck the Battle Frontier into there. They're like, so we'll just throw the whole Battle Frontier for Platinum in there.
Yeah. So it's like, goodness, what a huge game.
Yeah, they really stuffed those. Even Platinum is full of. Platinum has the Battle Frontier, and um, it's got like the Battle Resort as well.
It also has the not the beauty system or whatever. Was that in Platinum?
Platinum has contest. It has like super contest.
Got it. I know one of the games has like a really deep like appearance contest where like you have like dance around and show off what like your Pokemon looks like and what their personality is and all that.
I think, yeah, I don't usually do the contest stuff, so I don't know. Obviously Gen 3 is like the lowest implementation of that. Gen 4 has contests, and then Gen 6 has like contests as well, but I don't know exactly what the mechanics are for each of those.
I think it's Gen 6.
The Gen 6 games are fun too. I really like XY and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire.
I like Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I couldn't get into X and Y.
X and Y is like it's like the most like basic ass like this is a Pokemon game.
Yeah. And it was the
No.
first 3D one, but all the models kind of suck.
Yeah, the models are pretty bad. The um but I don't know. I love Mega Evolutions. I like the Gen 6 Dex is good, and then like, you have that's one of the games, especially when I got um when I had a 3DS, and eventually I got a new 3DS, so like being able to trade and use bank and stuff to like swap all the Pokemon around, it makes doing reruns of Gen 6 really fun because you have so many options.
Yeah, that's fair. But Mega Evolution, it's a good gimmick. I think how they handle it in a Pokedex is a little bit weird because it's like Mega Evolution will like drastically hurt your Pokemon, but they'll become way more powerful.
Yeah, the Pokemon entries for the Mega Evolutions weird. It's just like these harm your Pokemon, but in the game your Pokemon don't seem to be really bothered by it.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that's also when they started doing like the big generational gimmicks, like gimmicks that existed before X and Y, but X and Y was the big one where it's like, and here's the gimmick.
yeah, here's a gimmick. It applies to like 30 Pokemon. Um, and then like the later generations, they've just been like, okay, now here's a specific gimmick that applies to all Pokemon, or some Pokemon get it's like something specific on top of it. Um, which is, I would love to have access to all of those things in one game, but like also it would be a real pain in the butt to
Yeah,
like have to manage like all your Mega Stones and all your Z crystals and whatever. I think Z crystals are probably my least favorite, and I agree with Bones in the chat that I wish they would just have made more megas than like new gimmicks. Um, I really like Dynamax.
okay,
I think it's I just like the way it looks. Um, I think like Sword and Shield, and this is something that they lost between Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, is like Sword and Shield. It feels cinematic. Like the gym battles feel really cool when
yeah,
you Dynamax your Pokemon. Um, and like just because the system in Scarlet and Violet is so kind of janky, like it just feels, and they have to do it. You when you can battle pretty much anywhere, it's hard to make battles look as good versus like your gym battles, which are in a defined space with like defined parameters, and you
yeah,
can like hit all the right camera angles and stuff.
yeah. Though Area Zero is really cool. I like Area Zero a lot.
Yeah, Area Zero. I like it. Yeah, I like it when they do sort of that weird, sort of mysterious stuff.
The soundtrack is great. But yeah, Dynamax made the gyms really cool.
Okay, now I gotta.
Except for the Dark type gym, which I like the Dark type gym in Sword and Shield. But like, I understand why people don't like it.
I understand why they didn't want to. Like, they had a story reason why like it didn't have Dynamax. But it was kind of like, eh.
Yeah. Also, we need more evil teams in the Pokemon games. The last.
I love. Yeah, it's tough because like I like the stories. Well, I like the story behind Team Star. Um, I don't like the story behind Team Yell is kind of dumb, but I like the fact that they like team up with you near
Yeah.
the end of the story and become your friends.
They're just hooligans. That's all they are.
Hmm. And they're kind of stupid.
And then the team in Sword and Shield are just punks. Or is Team Yell Sword and Shield? Team
Team
Skull.
Yell Sword and Shield. Skull is punks.
Yeah. No. Punks are the Sword and Shield. The hooligans are Sun and Moon. Um, but yeah, Guzma's great, but like Team Skull, they're just a bunch of hooligans. Like they're just hanging around. They're not antagonistic really. They're just there.
Yeah, I feel like they like in those games they tried to make it a little bit of a twist where like oh the even like the Team Skull is a secondary antagonist and the main antagonist is you know the whatever uh
The mom.
the mom and her organization's name is Aether Foundation, I think.
Yeah, along those lines. Bones asks, "What's your favorite Pokemon, or what are some of your favorite Pokemon?"
My favorite Pokemon is Raichu.
All right, all right.
I think he's neat.
Mine's mine's Dino in the Dino line. I have a little plush Dino on my desk.
I have a, let's see, I'm filled out recently, redid one of those charts for your favorite Pokemon of each type. Um, so in grass, I have Flapple.
Okay.
In fire, I have Charizard. Water is Dreadnought. Normal is Galarian Zigzagoon.
All right.
Electric is Raichu. Psychic is Galarian Rapidash. Fighting is Infernape. Rock is Tyrant.
Okay.
Ground is Paldean Wooper. Flying is Archeops. Bug is Centiskorch.
All right.
Poison is Coughing. Dark is Impidimp. Ghost is Mega Sableye. Ice is Sneasel. Um, what is that? Steel is Aegislash. Dragon is Turtonator. And Fairy is Mimikyu.
I dig it.
So, like, either of my favorite Pokemon are cool or they're weird little guys.
Yeah. I haven't done that thing. I had. I did a thing where if I was a dark type gym leader, I did that on Blue Sky like a few weeks ago, and I can't. I'm not gonna look for it. But I really like the dark type.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of cool dark type Pokemon.
I think they're misunderstood.
I like the ones that are. I like ones that aren't like full on sort of evil. I like the ones that are jerks
Yeah.
and or as like Impidimp, my little guy, who's just a weird little guy.
Yeah.
Um,
Just trying to figure out how I'm gonna make this dual caster mage. I usually do alters with like a proof of concept sketch in mind, like I did before the Verdant Catacombs, and then I have this dual caster mage. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Oh, now that it's a little bit closer to the end, what are some tips you have for people who want to get into Arc?
um, if you want to get into what I do, there are plenty of there's like card. I don't know if Card Conjurer is still online.
It's
But
it's it's way different than it was.
there's stuff like Card Conjurer that sort of like gets you the sort of basics for card layout. I would study um, like work on your vector work. I use Photoshop, which is not it doesn't have the greatest vector tools, but it works for what I do. But work on like your vector work, learn on how to do tracing of like shapes. Like just download. You go to Scryfall, hit download PNG image of a card, and like figure out how to do the vector tracing of frames. Um, and then you gotta work at it. You gotta put in the time.
Hell yeah. That's kind of what I did for when I started making proxies. I just started making frames that I thought would look cool, and then trying to fit my artwork into them. And for a while, they did pretty well. I haven't radically changed my proxy frame in a while, but also haven't done proxies in a while, other than those mono black ones I told you about. But those are like all hand drawn.
Yeah, and I think like just if you're looking to get into any sort of um, typesetting work, or not even typeset, but layout, like even just like looking at magic cards, looking at other cards are terrible about how they do layout. But just so you have a good sense of like, what the information you need to put on a card goes where. I think magic card like um traditional looking magic cards with the M15 and beyond frame and that sort of layout are really good at that. And so learning sort of the rules of that and how you can break them successfully and how you can break them unsuccessfully um, is really important.
Hell yeah. So as we're wrapping up, what's your favorite card?
My favorite card is Captain Sisay.
All right.
Um, I just like I don't know. I my favorite colors are green and white in Magic. And then I really do love like the character of Sisay. I love the effects getting who knew that tutoring legendary would be so strong.
I
Um
remember when Sisay and Paradox Legal Engine were together.
yeah. I never did Paradox Engine in Sisay.
Oh, you should
But
try it sometime.
I did have to warn or I did have to tell people that I wasn't playing Paradox Engine.
You should try it sometime. It's a thrill. Have a no ban list commander night. Play Paradox this day. It's quite fun. Or not even like a no ban list, but like circa 2016 Magic.
That's a fun idea, actually.
Like only cards that came out before a certain point in 2016. All cards that were banned then, they're banned then. All cards that weren't banned then, they're not banned then. Call it a flashback night or something. Because like Paradox Engine and Urza, very broken. Paradox Engine and like every other commander before Urza, annoying, kind of broken, but like not that broken.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean the word Paradox Engine. It's not even the problem. Besides, before you get to stuff like Urza or Kitten, it's just like once you get the dramatic reversal style combos going, you're like, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, have a flashback night. Build Paradox Sissa. It'll be fun. Is Captain Sissa your favorite creature?
Yeah, yeah.
Alright, cool. I'll add it to my canvas once I'm able to get back to motivated on that. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Is there anything you want to promote, say, share before we sign off and head out?
I mean, I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram still, although I'm looking for a good reason to get off Instagram. And then I'm on Patreon at ALK, patreon.com/ALK Alters. Those are my plugs.
Hell yeah. But thank you for joining me. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on Twitch, make sure to follow. It really means a lot. You can check me out at the link tree that you should see on screen below. And I'm Beyond the Machina on just about everything else. And thank you very much. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye. See you later, Bones.
Bye.